Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare medieval pastillum, a beef pie from Johannes Bockenheim's Registrum Coquine, written in the 15th century. We start with ingredients. We need beef, flour, wine, eggs, verjuice, lard, raisins, and spices, black pepper, cloves, cinnamon, and saffron. We grind the spices, raisins, and 2 pinches of salt, diluting with verjuice. Then we cut the beef into pieces and marinate it with the sauce and a bit of lard for a few hours. If you don't have verjuice, you can use vinegar, lemon juice, or orange juice, as recommended by medieval authors such as Marinus de Maeris. Bockenheim's doesn't specify what kind of meat to use. Medieval pastilli are made with pork, beef, chicken, lamb, kid, wild boar, venison, and also various birds, such as pheasants or pigeons. So you can use the meat you like. This recipe is part of a collection titled Registrum Coquine, written by a medieval cook who worked at the court of Pope Martin V. Beyond the historical and culinary interest of the recipes, this cookbook is fascinating because all the recipes are suggested for specific social classes, nationalities, and groups of people, according to principles deeply related to medieval dietetic ideas, with a colorful depiction of the society of the time. Meanwhile, we prepare the crust. We need 500 grams of flour with 2 pinches of salt, an egg, 100 grams of lard, and a bit of water. Pastillum is a typical medieval pie that can be large or small, depending on the recipe and the cook's preference. Its dough is made with flour and fats such as lard, butter, or olive oil. Sometimes the recipes add eggs, spices, rose water, and other ingredients. In the Registrum Coquine there is also a pastillum made with bread dough. The directions in the medieval sources for the preparation of pastillum are generally vague and unclear, but in Renaissance cookbooks such as Bartolomeo Scappi's opera, there are detailed instructions for all types of pies. To prepare our pastillum, we followed one of Scappi's recipes. We roll the dough to obtain a crust about half a finger thick, which is the thickness recommended by Scappi. We fill the crust with the beef and close the pastilli, making a hole in the top crust. There are many ways to make a pastillum. Bockenheim recommends laying the bottom crust in a pan, then filling it and closing it with another crust, leaving a hole to pour liquid into at the end of cooking. A technique that we always find in the preparation of this type of pie. Another method is to wrap the dough around the filling. To learn more about pies in historical cooking, read our new book, Early Italian Recipes, Cereals, Bread, Pasta, and Pies, which include 114 recipes from the Antiquity to the end of the Renaissance, an introduction to the history of cereals in Italy, and an explanation of the basic preparations and ingredients used in the recipes. This book is the second in the series Early Italian Recipes, the first being dedicated to vegetables, fruit, herbs, and flowers in historical cooking. The translation of the Registrum Coquine is also available on Amazon, along with Anonimo Toscano's Libro della Cucina. To support our work, you can also buy us a beer and purchase our merchandise. All the links are in the description below, along with a list of our books on historical cooking and the link to our Patreon page, where you can find the translations of primary sources, including the books by Anonimo Veneziano, Maestro Martino, and Marinus de Maeris. as well as several articles on historical food. We cook the pastilli in the oven for about 25 minutes. Then we pour a bit of wine mixed with broth and cinnamon through the hole in the top crust and cook for another 10 minutes. These pastilli were delicious, with an interesting complexity given by the blend of spices, the slight acidity of verjuice and wine, and the sweetness of the raisins. An incredible dish, not only for a medieval banquet, but also a special dinner, to experience a richness of tastes typical of the Middle Ages, that can still be enjoyed today. If you're interested in Asian foods and flavors, subscribe our channel and consider supporting us on Patreon.